4,000 village banks in China are at risk. China's economy could soon turn to social instability. Xi Jinping makes a showy visit to Xinjiang. The politician denied all accusations of human rights abuse, torture, and genocide. China's job market is in trouble. Many white-collar workers have no choice but to join the food industry. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo described his personal encounters with North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un. He stated Kim Jong Un once wanted to reconcile with the U.S. Finally, 4 youths in Hong Kong tried to escape on a boat to Taiwan. They were caught by authorities and are now in court. Let's get into it. Welcome to Sound of Hope News. My name is Daniela Wolensack, and today is July 15th. After 4 rural banks in China stopped operating, another 4,000 banks are at risk. Many of them have gone out of business. The banking troubles highlight that China's economy could soon turn into social instability. More protests may break out as people try to get their money. Chinese people's money is being drained by corruption and embezzlement. Chinese media have complained that most Chinese chip manufacturers have significant investment funds but have achieved nothing. International investors have warned of China's financial instability since the Russian invasion of Ukraine in February. They have been aggressively selling Chinese state-owned bank bonds, approximately $27 billion worth. French Le Monde reporter Simon Lepatre reported what happened to a Henan banking victim named Yu. 33-year-old Yu lives in Heilongjiang province. He traveled across half of China to Henan to join the protests and to inquire about his lifetime savings. He was dragged by plainclothes thugs onto a bus after being beaten, and his eye was bleeding. He was released a few hours later. Mr. Yu sighed and murmured sadly to the reporter, "I put all my family's savings of 1 million yuan in this bank. Now I have nothing." In videos on social media, the protesting depositors can be seen holding banners that read, "Say no to corruption and violence of the Henan government." The dreams of 400,000 families were shattered. In the videos, hundreds of plainclothes men were seen storming the crowd and beating them. People are alarmed that the 4 Henan banks may just be the first of the dominoes. If the troubled 4,000 village banks behind them fall, it can topple Chinese society. The chief economist at Hong Kong's Hang Seng Bank, Wang Dan, commented, "These local banks often offered high interest rates to lure depositors. They then lent the money to local governments, state-owned enterprises, and very risky real estate projects. Now, the once blooming housing market has turned into bubbles, and surprisingly, the central bank did not intervene." Some economists have warned that if people start to withdraw money en masse, the risk of spreading out to other banks would be very high. 9 major banks in China have been affected so far. Chinese President Xi Jinping this week made an unannounced visit to the troubled area of Xinjiang. This is his second trip in 8 years to the region. Less than 2 weeks ago, he returned from Hong Kong, where he commemorated the 25 years of the city's handover to mainland China. Xi inspected a university, a commerce zone, a residential community, and a museum in the Xinjiang capital of Urumqi from Tuesday afternoon to Wednesday morning. He was greeted by musicians and dancers in historical gowns, worn by members of the largely Muslim Uyghur minority, according to local media. The Chinese regime was accused of carrying out a genocide against Uyghur Muslims by rights groups and Western nations, but the authorities deny mistreatment of ethnic minorities and say Xinjiang coverage is a home matter. Xi's trip appeared to emphasize nationwide unity as a substitute of ethnic divisions. Uyghur human rights advocate and executive director of the Uyghur Human Rights Project in Washington, Omar Kanat, criticized in an email, "To see Uyghurs smiling and dancing in front of the man responsible for atrocities is difficult to bear, especially given how far the government has gone to erase genuine expressions of culture." Xi last publicly visited the region in 2014, following an attack that killed 1 bystander and injured 79 people. 3 years later, the regime had expanded its repression of Uyghurs and other Turkic minorities, detaining up to 1.8 million people in internment camps. It also includes severe human rights abuses, torture, and forced labor, as well as the eradication of linguistic, cultural, and religious traditions. In January 2021, the Trump administration declared China's exercise in Xinjiang as genocide. The US and some European governments have reduced commerce and funding hyperlinks to the Xinjiang region. Moreover, they imposed financial sanctions on some Chinese officers for severe rights abuses against Uyghurs and other ethnic minorities. This month, Foreign Ministry spokesman Zhao Lijian excused China, stating Xinjiang-related issues are of minor concern to China. The so-called forced labor in Xinjiang is an outrageous lie from the U.S. side to smear and contain China. Senior Fellow and Director in China Studies at the Victims of Communism Memorial Foundation, Dr. Adrian Zenz, said, Xi's visit was likely a bid by Beijing to repudiate allegations of rights abuses and to project an image of stability in terms of ethnic policy and economic development to a global and domestic audience, according to RFA. He continued, on the other hand, it's a message to his domestic constituencies, the Han, that Xinjiang is a part of China. Policies are going well. These 12 months are important for Xi, as he is all set to continue for an unprecedented third term in power. China's job market is in trouble. According to China's media, due to worsening unemployment and the sluggish industry, many people who used to have high-paying jobs had to choose lower-paying jobs. According to Times Weekly, Ms. Wu, who used to be a makeup artist in the entertainment industry for 10 years in Beijing, said that she has now become a food delivery rider. Shen runs between the kitchen and customers and is often exposed to the messy kitchen environment. She said it's hard to accept that she is a food delivery rider now. In another case, Ms. Song, who used to be a white-collar in a company for 10 years, has also joined the backup food delivery team due to being unemployed. Ms. Song said that after the epidemic outbreak, the company didn't manage to adjust, all commissions disappeared, and the base salary was reduced by 30%. She was forced to join the delivery team. Now she delivers food 20 days per month for 4 to 8 hours a day and earns only 2,000 yuan. She used to make nearly 20,000 yuan per month. She owes 50,000 yuan in credit card debt after losing her job in May due to previous expenses. She hopes to earn as much as possible with this job, but she worries her parents will find out she's delivering food. It's hard for them to accept that their daughter is working such a hard job. The Beijing Academy of Social Sciences July report predicts that unemployment issue in China will remain severe in the second half of this year. It may lead to a decline in people's income, resulting in stagnant growth in consumer demand. At the same time, China's self-employed have suffered severe setbacks, further increasing unemployment. In July to August, the unemployment rate will likely hit a new high again. The 13th Asian Leadership Conference was held in Seoul, South Korea on July 13th to 14th. Former U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo revealed that Northern Korean leader Kim Jong Un once trusted the United States. North Korea had tried to go the right path of reconciliation with the West, but were blocked by the Chinese Communist Party. Pompeo secretly visited Pyongyang for his first meeting with Kim Jong Un in 2018, when he was head of the CIA, and then made 4 trips to North Korea during his tenure as Secretary of State. He coordinated 2 meetings between then-President Trump and Kim Jong Un. According to Korea Daily News, at the meeting in Seoul, Pompeo revealed, before Trump and I met with Kim Jong-un, Korea would always meet with China in advance. And I also learned that after I had a sincere conversation with Kim Jong-un and left North Korea, Xi Jinping called Kim Jong-un and threatened, "You dare do what that Secretary of State does? Just go ahead and try." Pompeo said Kim Jong-un was prepared to do whatever it took to maintain power, whether that was assassinating his family or otherwise. He described Kim Jong-un as he is decisive and will not give the United States any advantage. There are also many in the State Department who do not believe that Kim Jong-un wished to denuclearize. Pompeo stated, "I have a feeling that Kim Jong-un wants to go the right way." He notes that it is very difficult to lead an isolated country, a hidden kingdom, in 2022. Pompeo said that while Kim Jong-un is interested in moving in other directions, he also knows that North Korea depends on Xi Jinping and China for its economy, its livelihood, and its ability to stay in power. Pompeo described that Beijing will not loosen its grip on North Korea because, in the eyes of the Chinese Communist Party, North Korea is an important buffer state and a distraction from the US. And China knows that we need resources to stop North Korea from developing nuclear weapons. Pompeo said, in some ways, North Korean nuclear weapons are just an extension of China's nuclear weapons program. Observers believe that Pompeo's statement hits the nail on the head. The Chinese Communist Party and the Soviet Union have long been accused of being behind North Korea's nuclear weapons development. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, the Chinese Communist Party supplied nuclear technology and materials to North Korea through Pakistan and through so-called private enterprises in China. According to the Central News Agency, on July 13th, Zheng Zhijian was arrested a few days ago when he and 3 other people tried to escape by boat from Hong Kong to Taiwan. When the 4 were arrested, they were gaunt and with long hair. At noon on the 14th, Zheng was sent to the district court for trial. The prosecution objected to Zheng's bail, and the defense did not apply for bail. The court adjourned the case to September 13th for retrial, during which Zheng will be held in custody. Zheng was only 18 when the anti-extradition movement broke out in 2019. On October 1st of the same year, during the anti-extradition demonstration in Xinjiang, he and a group of demonstrators clashed with riot police. A police officer shot and hit Zheng in the chest. After Zheng was arrested, he was charged with 1 count of rioting and 2 counts of assaulting police officers. He was later released on bail. Zheng was originally scheduled to appear in court on December 22, 2020, but he did not show up on time. Therefore, the court issued an arrest warrant to him. He was arrested again when he tried to smuggle to Taiwan. Thanks so much for listening. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you on Monday.